Hi, it's Jez here from nigezza.co.uk. Thank you for joining me today. So today I'm going to bring you this card. I recently shared this on a blog hop. So now I'm going to bring you the tutorial. I'm going to change it up a little bit. So for this one, I use the beautiful star die from Christmas Trimmings dies. And I use the new Melody, I think that's what it's called, music embossing folder, and I'm going to change those two elements. I also am going to change the copper. I used the copper on this, and I thought it'd be nice to use the bedazzling paper with it, because I've not used it much, and it's too pretty not to use. And it's part of celebration, which ends very soon. So I thought I'd get using it. So I'm changing it this time to some snowflakes. So I'm using the So Many Snowflakes dies, and I'm going to stick to the same sentiment there, which is the Merry Christmas from Poinsettia Petals. And to create this, I'm using this double punch. I've forgotten what this one's called now. It's new to me. I have the original one, and I really liked the shape of this one, so I thought I'd give this a whirl as well. And I'm going to use, because it's snow, I'm going to use the Painted Textures embossing folder, because it kind of looks a little bit like snow. And I'm using the stitch rectangles to create the frame. So that's that. So we've got a thick Whisper White card base, and then I've got a bit of, it's not Whisper White, it's Very Vanilla, thick Very Vanilla for the base. And then I've got a scrap here to do my cutting out to make my frame. So I'm going to get my two dies out for my frame. Let me just check the size. I think it's the third one down. Yep, for the outer, and the fourth one down for the inner. I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. And so what I'm going to do is cut one of these out. I think I can do it that way. Yep, cut one of these out there, and then I'm gonna cut a frame out with my bedazzled, and out of that centerpiece I am gonna cut my snowflakes. So I'm gonna take this one, which will come out of that inside, and I thought I might cut a second one and layer them up. Thought that might look quite nice. Okay, so I'm going to get those cut out and come back to you. So that's everything die cut and embossed, ready to go on the card. I had to go backwards and forwards a few times because this is quite thick, but the snowflakes came out no problem. So now I'm going to stamp the sentiment, and on this, because I used copper embossing powder. This is, it's not silver, it's more sort of champagne-y, so I didn't want to use silver because I thought it wouldn't go quite right. So I'm thinking of going Sahara sand, and sort of clear embossing on top of it. So to do that, I need my stamparatus, and so I've set it up. I'm going to use, so I've got a 3/4 inch strip here of Very Vanilla, and so I've set it up. Sorry, I just knocked the camera. It's because I've got glasses on top of my head, which makes it just slightly in line. So I set this up to go across perfectly here. So line this up again, excuse my head, and then I'm going to ink it up with nice Sahara sand. I've got my foam underneath the grid. There we go. I think I'm going to do it again, and I am liking that as a good colour for, yeah, for this bedazzling paper. I think that works well. So now I've got to clean it off and stamp it up again with some Versamark. So I'm just looking for where I put my cleaning blocks. I tidied my desk before I went on holiday, and now I can't remember where anything is. I found them. So I made a wet and dry, so they're like the Stamp and Scrub, and so on the wet I just give a little squirt of our cleaning fluid. The chamois works well as well, but I've no idea where that is to be. Oh, she says that, and then as she said it, she looked up and saw the chamois. There we go. And then I'm just going to use some Versamark. So this works really well because you can stamp directly on top of any colour, and that's how you can get a nice heat embossed with any colour. I might do it twice for luck, just because that's there for another film I'm about to do. So now that's ready, I'll get my clear embossing powder. So that we can heat it up, and then that'll be all nice and shiny and sparkly as well. There we go. That'll do nicely. Get that back in there. And then I'm bringing my heat tool. Always find it really difficult to see when I do clear. Get it nice and hot. That's all done. So now we're going to use our punch here. So I made in the same way. I do have a video on making templates to use this, and I made them for this shape in exactly the same way. So I kind of sort of decide where I want it. So I want it to be about there, so we'll give that a snip. Can't find my snips. I'll use that one. So that can now go up there on the 3/4 inch, and that's exactly where we want it, that side. And then I'm going to do the same on this side. Want it about there. Give it a snip, and that just helps you position it exactly where you want it to be. So that's that. And then what I did was, instead of matting it bigger, I matted it smaller. So I've cut myself a 1/2 inch bit bit of bedazzling. So that's going up there, like so. I want it poking out. So then we need my measurer for this smaller one and decide where we want it, about there. So give this a snip, and then again come down here. It's actually ever slightly wider, but we'll go with it. As long as it's centered, it'll be fine. So that's my little mats behind the sentiment. Okay, so now just need to put my card together. Like so, and I do think, yeah, that works really well. Quite pleased about that. I chose very vanilla because it's not quite silver, really. So I'm going to stick this down first because it's easier to attach the frame around. It's that way around, isn't it? Yeah, that's the stitching, so it wants to go that way around. So I think I'm going to do that because there's a flat bit there which will get covered. Yeah, so it's less noticeable with that on the bottom. So a bit of Tombow. I do like the look of this painted texture for snow. It works really well. I'm just putting this on my grid mat straight. So this is where my fine tip comes in handy to go around these frames. I'm just going to stick that on top for a sec. So I'm going to stick this down. So I'm just going to go down the centre. Not quite sure how it's going to stick to this paper. But I need a bit of wigglage, I think, to make sure we're in the right place. I think that's working. So give it a rub. Stick that on. So now I want to stick these two on top of each other. So Tombow seems to be working quite well. So I'm going to carry on and use that. So we're going blob in the middle, go at these edges. Glue dot might have worked as well, Jez, actually. So I am turning it slightly to layer it up. put another block on there to hold it in place. So this should be stuck down now. See, 1,000,001 uses for acrylic blocks. Yeah, that's stuck on there now. It doesn't appear to have stuck straight. I did try. My problem is my eyes are watering and so I can't see, but that's not straight, but who cares? So that's going to go across there. And that's going to go on there. So it will tumble there on the back of this. All these flat bits. That should be enough. There we go, stick that on there. And then we just want some dimensionals on here. So we'll take a strip of these. There. There. And one in the middle. That'll work. I need a really good pair of tweezers. Because that's a rubbish pair. Okay, that should be done now. And then I'll stick this across. Problem is now that the card's not straight. Don't know whether to go. I think we're going to line it up with the frame. That is the way to go. Line it up with the frame. So that's my cards. One with a star, one with a snowflake, one with copper, one with bedazzled. So hope you like that. Hope you'll get some inspiration and have a go. And I will see you again soon. I'll link down below to all the products. This bedazzling paper is free with a £45 spend. You get eight sheets, I think, of 6x6, beautiful paper. Yeah, so perfect for your Christmas makes. Okay, I'll link all down below. I'll link to my blog post so you can go and check it out. And I'll try and remember to link to the original blog hop so you can see what everybody else made. Okay, bye for now.